Modern cities are ruining your life, and you can't do anything. Cities are meant to be built for people, but turns out it's not so much the case. For hundreds of years, most cities formed organically, and others that were planned by architects were simple, logical, human-centric, and pleasant to live in. One of the oldest examples of this is the Vitruvian city, described by Marcus Vitruvius in the 1st century BC. But with the Industrial Revolution, more and more people started moving into the bigger cities, and with the invention of the automobile, a new trend started to emerge. Many roads were converted to suit the needs of these new vehicles better, people no longer being in the focus. Similarly, with modern trends in architecture focusing on individual buildings and technological discoveries, urban design became less and less human and more machine-like. A person who illustrates the degree to which people were obsessed with machines' rationality and efficiency is Le Corbusier, who famously said that a house is a machine for living in. He was greatly motivated by the desire to address the challenges of rapid urbanization and congestion in growing cities. Thus, he developed the concept of the radiant city, which was anything but radiant. It neglected the human scale and the importance of social interactions by separating the different parts of the city into strict zones for working, commuting, and recreation. Also, his vision to create high-rise apartment buildings created a scene that could easily be mistaken with one from a dystopic movie. He influenced many generations of architects, thereby promoting the ideals of efficiency and the cars first, human second approach to urban planning. This led to cities with grid-like designs and inhuman proportions, completely neglecting the psychological and physical needs of people, not to mention the brutalist design approach of the communist bloc. But in the 1970s, a paradigm shift occurred. More and more people realized that the city planning projects and trends that the modernists have proposed aren't fitting for humans. So, a counterculture started to emerge that put humans in the center, giving birth to what we now call friendly urbanism. Jane Jacobs, Jan Gehl, Richard Florida, William H. White, and Kevin Lynch, just to name a few of its most influential supporters. A huge amount of research work has been done on the topic of how the place where one lives affects their life, both physically and mentally. Well-designed urban spaces can create environments that promote healthy lifestyles, strong community ties, feelings of safety, and opportunities for personal and economic growth. The exchange of ideas, small remarks, discussions between opposing sides, or about a certain worldview, all of these things happen in public space, not online. This direct connection, this face-to-face setup, is one of the most important prerequisites of a productive dialogue. Further, the small and large-scale collaboration of people depend on this kind of interaction. On the other side is complete isolation, where the only input people get is from social media and the news. One creates a group of thinkers who can argue productively, and the other a group which closes itself off from all who oppose their thoughts, or rather the lack thereof. People are interested in people. That's the most intriguing part of their life. When we look at coffee shops, people tend to orient themselves towards the street, to see passers-by, to see the life of the city, what's happening nearby. In small and large squares, we see people sitting and standing near the margins, watching what's happening, how the theater of our life unfolds. I've already mentioned the name of Jan Gehl. In 2010, he published Cities for People, where he proposed 12 points, based on which we can determine how human-centric a city is. These categories eliminate the factors that may hinder in any way the personal growth and well-being of people, be it physical or psychological, thereby creating an environment of opportunity for all people across the board for a meaningful life. These categories eliminate the factors that may hinder in any way the personal growth and well-being of people, be it physical or psychological, thereby creating an environment of opportunity for all people across the board for a meaningful life. We won't go down the rabbit hole of what a meaningful life is, but if you're interested, I highly recommend the book of Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules for Life. Let's look at the first of the three categories. Safety. It is one of our most basic needs as humans to feel in control, safe from all the dangers of our environment, whatever it may be. They like to avoid risks in most cases, mainly when it's pointless. If these dangers are unavoidable, people become anxious and nervous, and the highly costly fight or flight mode kicks in. For a time, this level of high stress is good, but if it is present for a long duration, even if it is just in a low intensity, it can cause a lot of problems in the long run. Now, let's move up a level. We arrive at comfort. These are the criteria that make a city enjoyable to live in, not just safe. Now you have things to see, you can play, you can sit down, take in the panorama, pause the rushing life of the city for a moment, and retreat from the flow of traffic. There are spaces for talking and listening, interesting perspectives, viewpoints of view, and the changing scene as you move through the city. And now, the peak of the pyramid. Amenities. Here's the scale of the urban space, in observance to the human proportions, senses, and behaviors. The possibilities to enjoy the positive aspects of the climate and aesthetic quality of the city. Good design, beautiful facades, interesting details, and the presence of nature. So, turning back to the question from the start, how do we even build cities for people? And about how you can contribute in creating better cities? Be part of the community. Engage, walk, and don't be afraid to take part in the life of the city, because it's a common interest for all to have a place, a home, right with vitality. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and stay tuned for the next one. I'm preparing something really interesting. Until then, bye.